Hello, and welcome to the Mindful Innovator Meditation Series. In our last session, we discussed the foundation. How do we meditate? Today, we're going to change directions and focus in on how do we innovate? That's why we're all here. But before we go into what innovation is, I also think it's important for us to discuss what it is not. Innovation has lots of mantras. Innovate or die, fail fast, disrupt or be disrupted. Innovation is not a race, but when we act as if it is a race, we act hastily. It makes us feel overwhelmed, creates complications, which then causes us to make mistakes. The innovation race doesn't help any of us. But what if we thought about innovation before all those mantras? Before there was a process? Before there was a book? How would we innovate? Before we begin, let's remember our 3 rules. The first one, remember, just have fun with this. We're going to need it today. We're going to use our imagination. We're going to need you to be open to new things. Bring your curiosity. Bring some playfulness. Our second rule, make sure we find a nice quiet place that we can focus, not be disturbed. And our last rule, don't forget to breathe. Okay, here we go. Now I want you to breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it there for 2, and then out through your mouth for 4 seconds. And repeat. In through the nose, 4 seconds. Hold for 2. And out for 4 seconds through your mouth. Great. And again. In through the nose. Hold. And out through the mouth for 4 seconds. And I really want you to feel that breath as it goes in through your nose. Feel the cool air brushing past the tip of your nose. Feel it filling your lungs, your belly, and as you breathe out on the exhale, feel the air passing your pursed lips, warm air coming out of your mouth. And do this a few more times, just focusing in on the breath, the 4-2-4 count, the feeling of the breath in, feeling of the breath out, and if your mind starts to wander, remember, just begin again. So when I think about innovation mindfully, I like to go back and think, what was innovation like before a book, before a process? And really just reflect on what innovation can be. And I usually find myself going back to 3500 BC for the invention of the wheel. The wheel isn't what most people believe it to be when it first was invented. In fact, the first wheel was not for transport, not for getting people or items around, but it was for making pottery. The potter's wheel was the first wheel invented in 3500 BC. Now, I want you to use your imagination here a little bit and keep breathing, stay in the zone, but imagine, why would somebody have to invent the potter's wheel? What was happening in that time that could have sparked the innovation of the potter's wheel? Just visualize that scene around you. what's happening in 3500 BC ancient Greece. What is the inventor doing that's making him think about making the potter's wheel? What are the people around him doing? And just play that scene out in your head. As they begin to develop the potter's wheel, what are some of the challenges that they face? And what are some of those iterations and failures that they must have faced along the way to their success with developing the potter's wheel? And now, how did this invention impact their lives? Did it create new efficiencies? Did it give them the ability to make new types of pottery, new products? Okay, now breathe in and breathe out. Now, we're going to take the scene that you just created in your head and we're going to merge it with your office today. Imagine what it would look like to invent the potter's wheel in your office, your team, your company. Are you applying design thinking? What coworkers are having conflict deciding what shape the wheel should be? What meetings need to be coordinated and who's coming to those meetings? What budget do you need to fight for? What questions are being asked of you? What obstacles are in the way of your success? And just sit there in the breath, visualizing this scene. Now, it should be a little humorous. Remember, have fun. How will today's process get in the way of the invention of the wheel? Okay, one last time. Let's come back to the breath. Let's breathe in for 4 seconds through the nose. Hold, and out through the mouth for 4 seconds. Alright, so we have visualized what it would be like to create the potter's wheel in your office. How did it go? Was it a success? Was it frustrating at times? How did it make you feel inventing the wheel? Did you have any run-ins with the board of directors, your boss, any coworkers that you may not get along with? I hope that this visualization helped you realize that we overcomplicate innovation. And bare bones, if we look at innovation, it comes down to 3 key variables. 1, we need to identify the problem. What is the real problem that we are facing that we need to solve for? The second is that we need to think about how do we creatively solve for that problem. And the part that most people forget about, but probably the most important, is getting others to accept that as your solution. These are the 3 key variables that we can learn from the invention of the wheel or any other invention in past time. And the way that we handle these 3 variables today can very well impact how our innovation comes to life, if it comes to life. Now, I know this is not rocket science. It's not blowing your mind right now. But if we were to take these 3 key variables and be mindful about them, truly think about what is your problem, truly think about a creative way to solve it, and truly get others to accept it, not to force it on them. If we think mindfully about those 3 variables, we can be a lot more successful with innovation. Okay, so before we wrap up here, I want you to just think about how might you apply these 3 key variables in the work that you do today. How can you create change today by just thinking about the problem, a creative way to solve that problem, and getting others to accept it? Now, I hope this practice today helped you look at innovation a little bit differently, challenges the way that you go about your day. Remember, think about the problem that you need to solve. Come up with a creative solution to that problem and get others to accept that solution as the answer to that problem. If you put that framework around anything that you're doing today, do you find yourself to be more successful? Well, thank you for spending some time with me today to talk about innovation. And we will see you next time on the Mindful Innovator Meditation Series.